Roseborne College was an unsettling place at the best of times. Now, as I stood rigid outside the Victorian mansion's front door, staring out at the havoc I'd unleashed, the campus might as well have been an outright horror show. In the fading dusk, several students were tugging at the wrought iron gate that led to the outside world, but it refused to release anything more than a creak of protest. A faintly glowing mist rolled off the rosebush that clung to the stone wall the rest of the way around campus. Ghostly figures formed from its haze, drifting toward the students by the gate and others scattered across the lawn. A girl who'd been scrambling back to the school staggered as her legs wobbled beneath her. They gave out completely, pitching her onto the grass. Her breath was coming ragged. I peered across the lawn toward the wall, and a chill crept up my spine. I couldn't make out much of the roses blooming there, the blooms that were somehow connected to the lives of each student, but in the mist's glow, one that I caught sight of shriveled tighter. Another let loose a couple of petals to drift toward the ground. If a student's rose died, they died too. From what I'd gathered, that process usually took years, while Roseborne's staff dealt out their tortures. It was speeding up before my eyes. Before, I'd thought there might be some small chance of using my gardening know-how to strengthen the plant, but looking at it now, I had no hope at all that my skills could slow the flower's decay. I only had a few seconds to take in that problem before my gaze caught on a sight that made my heart lurch hard. One of the ghostly figures had come to a stop on the path between me and the gate. She turned toward me with a swing of her translucent but distinctive pitch-black hair. A filmy image of Sylvie, my foster brother's former girlfriend, the girl who died because of my jealousy, stared straight at me with coal-lined eyes. Holy shit! I backpedaled instinctively. My back smacked into the door that had closed behind me. Without thinking, driven by pure panic, I fumbled for the knob and pushed inside. The situation in the foyer wasn't much more welcoming. A few students ran by me, pale-faced. Another was huddled in a corner, hugging himself. Streaks of ghostly light glanced off the walls with a crackling energy that made the air thrum. In one, I caught a glimpse of the face of one of the 8 students from nearly a century ago, whose ritual had transformed this institution from an ordinary high school into a college driven by vengeance. Their spirits had broken, or maybe been forced, out of the physical bodies they'd constructed to present themselves as the college's staff, but our tormentors obviously weren't gone. And who knew what the hell they had in store for us next? They'd already unleashed some of that hell on the 3 guys who'd taken them on alongside me. If I could save anyone tonight, I had to save them. I dashed down the hall to the basement stairs. In the laundry room, the person-sized hole I'd opened up in the far wall still gaped ominously. At the thought of the power that had welled up inside me and allowed me to crumble the concrete with my bare hands, my fingers curled into my palms. If I could have used the same trick on the outer wall, we'd all have had the chance to flee the campus right now. But I couldn't. I felt the lack inside me with the same certainty as I'd known I could press through this wall less than an hour ago. The power that had come over me had faded away after the earlier mad rush of it. I couldn't have shattered a single brick, and I had no idea how to summon the energy again.